So, and that line, which is the railings, it looks like it's bending towards the left, but apparently it's not that bendy. It's only 5% bend. I'm talking about
No,
this railing here.
We're looking at a very different picture.
Yes.
Because the railing here diminishes.
No, yes.
Yeah, but
Yes.
it goes like that.
Yes, it diminishes
Yeah.
from this side. Look, from here.
No.
So yes, it does diminish. No?
The other way.
I think it does.
I think it's a bit of
No,
both.
It diminishes.
You put a ruler on
It
that.
reduces into the there.
Yeah.
So we're back. This is the same. This is the same as the river. The end of the railing is there.
If you look at that, and then it's slightly.
Yes, it is. It is. Yeah, that's evident. So yes, it's not. So it's not perfectly horizontal. So what you're saying is basically like this. Yes, and apparently it's correct. Yes. So yes, you have the railings there, and then you have the flat surface of the pavement here.
Yes, definitely.
Okay. So now it's better, and obviously we have. I was told by the morning class that this is called the Victorian Tower.
Yeah.
Okay.
Victorian Tower here. Now the building of the Parliament, which goes all about, it's lower than the Victorian Tower, but also don't forget that in between the railings you have dark, which say that the railings were not there. You will have the buildings of the building of the Parliament coming around, or probably the Thames is somewhere here. But anyway, let's give it a darker tone of value, and
You
you
say
have
the Thames.
Thameses.
Thames.
Oh,
You
Thames.
Sorry, I just thought I'd
No, change the
I
name.
thought that was sort of Albanian.
Thames,
or-
yeah, Thames. Yeah, possibly.
No, I wasn't going to.
Thames.
No,
The Thames, yeah, the Thames.
I was just checking my understanding of what you were saying.
Yeah, no, you're right, yes. And then the top of the, I was told this is called the
Big Ben.
Elizabeth Tower.
Elizabeth
Oh,
Tower.
is it? Oh,
And
Yes.
then Big Ben is the clock, yes,
Uh-huh.
yes, correct. Yeah.
With the bell.
Big Ben is the bell.
Is the bell, oh, it's the bell, not the clock, okay.
No, that was named formerly the Elizabeth. It used to be the St Stephen's Tower or something, but it's now the Elizabeth Tower.
Okay.
Yes.
Ah, okay.
Because there's a St Stephen's Tower in the city,
Oh, I didn't know that.
Ah, okay.
which some architect uses as an office.
Now, I will ask you, and it's a tricky question. Do you think that those lines here are horizontal to, let's say, the horizon? Are they horizontal? Are they flat with the horizon?
Not
or
in this
they're
image, no.
not in this image? Okay, good. Because if you observe, you will see that these, because the Big Ben is a lot taller than humans are. So if I look at that top, let's say, end of my canvas, from where I am, I see there is a bending line going from that, and the more it goes towards the door, the more it's bending, and the more it inclines. So it's exactly the same phenomena here. Not because it's wrong, not because it's bended, but because we've seen it from, we are here. Say that I'm here, you are here, so that cannot be flat. And there is an inclination there, which is there. Something like this. And then, yeah.
And is it right that if you continue those lines down, they meet the end of the railing?
Exactly.
virtually?
So yes, if very good, yeah, very good question. Is that if that goes straight there and this goes there, they all meet up at the vanishing point, which is outside our format.
Ah, okay.
So
But
that's
outside
why
the picture.
it's outside. Sorry,
Outside the picture.
outside the picture.
Yeah.
Yes. So say that you are there and you're painting, you know that they meet, but they meet way outside of your format. So you just don't care about it, or it's not that you don't care, that you don't know where they meet,
Mm.
or it doesn't fit
But
on the picture.
But
so
it
you-
doesn't have to meet in the picture.
No. Or it can meet in the picture if I do a really minuscule.
But you
Maybe
lose your
something.
sense of scale.
Yes, you lose the sense of scale. You will do it so small. Okay, I'll do another one quick now. Let's finish this one, and I'll do what you're asking now. It's a good question because we'll do it in a different way. I'll do a demo on that. And that's the same, the Victorian, I think is that called, Victorian Tower. And then you have the same thing here. And they're called spears. spears, these ones. They, to me, they look like Gothic architecture, and they are these
Spires.
sorry, spires, not spears. Not spear. Okay, spires, yes. Okay. Spires. And then they have the same issue. They cannot be flat. They will have to be, you have a top and then it moves down, 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 down here. And also don't forget there is a side surface, side plane, which is this one here, which is darker than the front plane. The front plane is looking at the sun. The sun is coming that way. Now how do I know? Because I have the answer here. I've cropped the tree. If you see there is a tree there, and the tree creates a shadow from the left to the right like this. And that's how we know that the sun is coming from the left. Because also that part of the building is brighter than this. That's the front plane, that's the side plane. Big Ben does have exactly the same issue. Front plane, side plane darker. Do you see what I mean here? Darker. And obviously the clock itself, which, sorry, but I've ignored it, but I shouldn't. Something like that. Clock now. I know it's that white is subject to the shadow of the side plane, so it's much whiter here because it's facing the sun, and it's much darker on the side because it's part of a shadow. And this
Spires.
Spires. The spire of the Big Ben itself, which is massive, is there. Now it's not that long, I know. Okay. Now, again, the buildings, they continue on that side, but don't forget. And the Parliament building, as it moves further away, it's darker here because we are closer to the right hand side, and it's brighter there because we're moving away. Look, I mean, it's going further away. So let's say that that's half a mile away, and this is only 250 yards from us, something like that. And don't forget that we have light railings for two reasons. First of all, because the sun is illuminating them, and second of all, it's because they are white, painted in white, you will see. So obviously, painted in white, they reflect the sunlight, so they become even brighter. Plus, we have some squares, which they are, you've noticed, between the railings, you have some squares here, which are the reinforcement of the railings, but the squares, as they move away, they become closer and closer and closer to each other. I'm talking about this, and you still see them, don't you? You should see them. Okay. Let's add some people. Now, that's hard. Well, I know, but we need to challenge ourselves, shouldn't we? Now, don't forget, people, the person who is close to us, the closest to us, say somebody here. That's his head, or that would be us watching. No, that's not the head because that's huge. So a bit smaller head, shoulders, body, that's moving, and that's his front leg. It's moving away, it's coming towards us. Now, to make that guy stand out, or girl, but I think he's a guy, it's more like a bloke, look what you do. You highlight the top of the head, and you highlight the shoulders, and that man just pops on into action. Look at that. You see? Just highlighting the head and the shoulders. Suggestion. The less you do, the better it is, because the eye picks it up and knows it's a human. I mean, what else can he be there? And it's closest to us. And then his hand is there. His hand moves. So he's doing, or he's pushing. Say that he's pushing a push chair. He's out with the baggie. His little son. Okay. He's pushing something. Okay, one person. Now the people at the back, should it be at the same size or should it be smaller? Should it be
Smaller.
exactly, because it's perspective. But one thing keep an eye on. The head of the people at the back will have to be exactly at the same line as this guy. So the head there, but the body is smaller. So they're moving away. You see, one. Let's make a couple there. So the heads have to be at the same horizon line. That's the rule of perspective. It sounds strange, it sounds weird, but it's a rule. So the head will have to be at the same horizontal line. Not that line of the railings which moves, it's bended, not that line, horizon, which is a flat line. So again, we can work on them, and then do a little bit of head there. Oh, they look like they're hugging each other. Okay, don't want something like that. So make them moving away. Smaller heads, because it's massive heads. And what we're missing the main character, which is, oh, hold on. Before I go to the lampposts, let's do the some. Do you know that in central London you have those big, massive tiles where people walk? Well, they've been put there for probably knows centuries ago. Who knows? But yes, so that also reinforces perspective. So it's good to have those lines. You don't have to overemphasize them, but it's good to have some of them. Let's say not all of them, but some. Look, just creates a bit of a flat area here. And don't forget to re-emphasize those bright. You see what I mean here? The white painted railings here. And what we're missing, which is very important, is the lampposts. One, two, and they come closer. The closer or the further away they come, the closer they're spaced, because they're moving away. So they become, you can look, that's a lot of a distance, but from this to that is smaller distance, and from that to that is even smaller distance. And we have just to make them smaller like this, and that creates the impression of perspective. How about that? And then you obviously those, because I've seen them up close, and they have this massive. They do have relief inside it. They do have cherubs. They do have fish. You've probably seen them. When you go next time close to central London, you will see them. They are all with sculptings. They're decorated with sculptings. It's amazing. So look, we can do some highlights. And the basis is massive. It's very, very. They're really thick. Because again, they were done many years ago. Nowadays, they can possibly stabilize it with a lot of. It just goes down there deep on the ground and it can stabilize. But then, I guess then it was a fashion to do that massive base here, which looks grand, looks beautiful. Okay.
I think it's also partly structural, as they're all false embankments anyway. It's done Victorian times.
Yes.
The embankments for the towns.
And they had to do this structure just to keep the water or to keep the pavement without collapsing. Okay, so how do you see that? It's a challenge, isn't it? To get the perspective right. Now it seems really easy, but when you start putting it, yes, it's got its own difficulties, you know. I'm not saying it's very hard, but it does have some difficulties. And now it's just a matter of emphasizing the railings here, look. And the lower part, and those here, look, just to make them a bit more, creates a different texture. There. It's convincing, somehow. Okay, do you want to try? Do you want to have a go at this?
Mm-hmm.
It's more about perspective, and as I said, I had in the morning, and I've been asked just to do perspective, because obviously apparently it's not as easy as it looks.